Welcome to the Explainer. If you live in a northern climate, you are intimately familiar with the relentless chill of a deep winter freeze. And for generations, northern gardeners have essentially treated the fig tree like this incredibly fragile piece of the warm south. We're talking going extreme lengths, swaddling trees in multiple tarps, wrapping them in burlap. I've even seen people stringing up incandescent Christmas lights inside the wrapping just to try and keep the wood alive through February.
Oh, absolutely. It's a labor of love, but it's exhausting. But the narrative is really shifting right now. Today, we're looking at a specific fig that doesn't just tolerate the cold, but is actually biologically adapted by harsh continental climates to thrive in it. So let's dive into the really fascinating survival story of the Florea fig.
And I want to start right out of the gate with this idea. Florea is the fig that finally makes growing figs possible for northern gardeners. For anyone who has spent years watching a prized fig tree die all the way back to the roots, only to fail to produce a single ripe fruit before the autumn frost hits, Florea completely changes the landscape.
It really does. We aren't talking about a fussy plant you have to baby or coax into giving you a tiny handful of mediocre fruit. It is a highly reliable variety that makes cold climate horticulture a practical reality. It's really that dependable companion that northern growers have literally been waiting for.
So, botanically speaking, we are looking at Ficus carica, specifically the cultivar known as Florea. Crucially, it is what we call a common fig. Now, that just means it does not require that highly specialized fig wasp for pollination to set its fruit. You can grow a single, solitary tree in complete isolation, say in a suburban backyard, and it will still produce heavily. It's got medium vigor and this really nice, naturally upright growth habit.
Right. And most importantly for us, it is an ultra-early main crop fig. It puts all its remarkable biological energy into a massive, highly reliable late summer harvest.
It's funny, most famous figs have these deeply documented, almost romantic histories tied to warm, sunny places. We think of French monasteries or Mediterranean coastal villas or Middle Eastern deserts.
Well, Florea is a bit of a mystery in that regard. It's pretty much devoid of ancient texts or fancy trade route records. Instead, it was born and bred in the freezing continental climates and working backyards of the Romania and Moldova region.
Exactly. It evolved not in pampered sunshine, but in a landscape where winters are just brutal, summers are incredibly short, and early autumn frosts are a given. It was shaped by homesteaders who didn't care about pedigree. They just needed a true survival specialist. And because of where it comes from, its biological adaptation is all about timing.
Right. Florea doesn't just survive the calendar, it sprints through it. It breaks dormancy incredibly early in the spring, giving itself a crucial head start over other varieties. And by June, you see this amazingly fast fruit development.
Which means, practically speaking, by late July, you are already harvesting your first ripe fruit, with the main harvest hitting hard in mid-August. And just to put that into perspective, this is weeks, sometimes a full month before legendary figs even begin to think about ripening.
-20 degrees Celsius. I just want to let that number sink in for a second. For a plant whose ancestors historically basked in the Mediterranean sun, surviving at -20 Celsius is almost unbelievable.
It is. With proper winter protection, Florea can genuinely endure those temperatures. And even completely unprotected, in many recorded cases, it survives down to -15. The dormant buds on a Florea tree are substantially more cold-resistant than almost any other cultivated fig variety on Earth.
To truly understand how it manages this kind of extreme survival, we have to talk about the absolute villain of northern gardening, which is dieback. What exactly happens when a fig freezes? So, winter dieback is when freezing temperatures completely kill the above-ground wood of the tree, but the roots survive underground, safe from the deepest frost, to resprout in the spring. Now, for most standard fig varieties, dieback means your harvest is totally ruined for the year because they desperately need that surviving one-year-old wood to produce fruit early enough to ripen before the next winter. If they die back to the ground, any fruit they eventually set on the new summer growth will just be frozen solid and green on the tree by October. And this right here brings us to Florea's defining adaptation, its botanical superpower, if you will. Even if a brutal winter causes complete dieback to the roots, Florea resprouts, grows aggressively, and immediately sets fruit on that brand new green wood.
And crucially, this is the magic part. It still manages to ripen that fruit before the autumn frost. This trait is exceptionally rare. It means Florea trades the vulnerability of needing old wood for the absolute certainty of a harvest. It guarantees you fruit, even in your worst-case winter scenario. It really is the fig that makes growing figs possible up north.
Geographically speaking, this creates a really clear, reliable roadmap for Canadian growers. Notice how perfectly Florea fits into the absolute shortest summers across the country. If you're out on Vancouver Island, you're eating fresh figs by late July. In the lower mainland, early to mid-August.
And what about folks in places with intense but very short summers, like interior BC or Ontario?
You are confidently harvesting by mid to late August.
Exactly. And even in the highly challenging, cooler zones of Quebec and Atlantic Canada, Florea pushes right through to deliver ripe figs by late August or early September. It just works everywhere.
The actual botanical secret behind this geographic success is something called a low heat unit requirement. You see, figs generally need a massive, consistent accumulation of scorching summer heat to properly develop their sugars and ripen. But Florea possesses one of the lowest heat unit requirements of any fig we know of.
Exactly. It just doesn't need a baking desert sun. It handles cool summer nights, high ambient humidity, endless stretches of rain, and frustratingly inconsistent temperatures, and it just steadily ripens regardless of how gloomy the forecast gets.
Now, let's talk about the reward itself. The Florea fruit is small to medium size, generally weighing in around 30 to 45 grams, wrapped in a brownish-purple skin, with a beautiful natural dusty bloom. When you break it open, you find this gorgeous amber red to strawberry amber pulp. The texture is quite soft, with a very low seed crunch. Oh, and the flavor profile is a beautiful, complex hybrid. You get immediate notes of sweet berry, followed by a really rich honey and just a hint of mild caramel, with very light, pleasant acidity to balance the whole thing out. It is delicious. It's also one of the most forgiving, beginner-friendly plants you can possibly grow. It's perfect if your summer weather often feels more like an adversary than a friend. Because it evolved in a damp, cool continental climate, it naturally fights off the ailments that constantly plague other figs in wet northern summers. It is highly resistant to fig rust and leaf spot, and crucially, the fruit itself strongly resists splitting when it rains, and fights off souring and mold right on the tree. So, practically speaking, let's say you're in Alberta or Saskatchewan where in-ground growing is incredibly risky due to the deep freezes. How do we approach this?
Well, Florea is your perfect container tree because of its fast-establishing, cold-resilient root system. Start your first-year tree in a standard 1-gallon pot, move it up to a 3 to 5-gallon pot in year 2, and by year 3, a 10 to 15-gallon pot is pretty much its forever home. You'll want to feed it a balanced 10-10-10 fertilizer in the spring to push that early green growth, and then switch over to a high-potassium 0-10-20 mid-season to really fuel the fruit development.
And when we talk about containers in northern climates, remember that fig roots absolutely hate sitting in cold, soggy soil. You need a fast-draining mix. A highly effective, proven blend is 50% pine bark for structure and aeration, 30% peat moss for just enough moisture retention, and 20% perlite to ensure the water flows right through.
Right. This specific recipe guarantees that your Florea's roots won't suffocate or rot during those cool, endless rainy stretches we often get in the north.
Now, if you're in zones like Ontario or Quebec and you want to plant directly in the ground, the rule is to bury the plant slightly deeper than the pot level. This actually protects the root crown underground and space them about 8 to 10 feet apart. For winter protection in the ground, you'll apply a really heavy layer of mulch right at the base, and you can wrap the trunk with dry leaves or straw packed inside some burlap. But in extreme deep freezes, you can utilize the ultimate survival technique. You literally bend the flexible young branches down to the ground and bury them entirely in soil or thick mulch under a tarp. The Earth's natural insulation keeps them alive.
So, how do we prune this tree specifically for these short northern summers? It's a very simple 3-year strategy. Our goal is to maximize airflow and encourage lateral fruiting wood. In year 1, honestly, just let the roots establish. Keep pruning to an absolute minimum. In year 2, you want to start shaping it into a vase or an open center. Think of a martini glass to let the sunlight penetrate the middle of the tree. And then from year 3 onwards, it's just basic maintenance. You remove crossing branches that rub together, take out those overly vertical water shoots that don't produce fruit, and just thin out the weak, spindly growth.
It's always helpful to compare our options. Let's start with Florea versus the absolute legend of cold climate figs, the Chicago Hardy. Now, Chicago Hardy is famous for a reason. It does have a slightly superior, richer flavor profile. But there is a critical trade-off here. Chicago Hardy requires a significantly longer, hotter summer to actually ripen its crop. If your summer is short or just unseasonably cool, Chicago Hardy might leave you staring at hard green figs in late October. Florea trades a tiny bit of that flavor intensity for sheer, undeniable reliability. It ripens earlier and will give you sweet, ripe figs when other varieties just fail.
Next up is Florea versus Ronde Bordeaux. This is another beloved fig with a deeply rich, intense, jammy berry flavor that true fig connoisseurs just adore. However, Ronde Bordeaux offers that richer flavor at the direct cost of ripening noticeably later in the season. Plus, its branches really don't handle extreme deep winter cold quite as well. So if you happen to have a long, reliably warm autumn, it's a fantastic choice. But if your autumn frost is early and merciless, Florea is without question the safer bet.
Finally, let's look at Florea versus Desert King. Now, Desert King is incredibly famous, especially in places like the Pacific Northwest, for its massive early breba crop. And a breba crop is simply the fruit that grows on the surviving wood from the previous year.
But here's the catch. If a harsh northern winter kills that old wood, you get absolutely no breba crop, and its main summer crop very often struggles to ripen at all in poor summers.
Florea, by contrast, puts all its energy into a highly reliable, ultra-early main crop on brand new wood. It does not rely on surviving the winter intact to give you fruit. That is a massive advantage.
So, when August finally arrives, you'll know it's time to harvest when the skin visibly softens and that brownish-purple color really deepens. The neck of the fig will actually droop under its own weight. You'll see slight cracking on the skin, and a beautiful little drop of honey may form right at the eye at the bottom.
They're excellent eaten fresh right off the tree or dried. But because perfectly ripe fresh figs really only last a maximum of 2 to 3 days in the refrigerator, making an incredible berry-intense jam is the absolute perfect way to capture the taste of summer, saving it for those darkest days of winter.
At the end of the day, Florea isn't just a plant. It's a brilliant testament to survival and botanical adaptation. It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that northern gardeners can finally experience the incredible joy of picking a warm, sweet fig right in their own cold climate backyard. It's the fig that changes everything for us up north, and really, it leaves you wondering, if a Mediterranean fig can adapt to conquer a harsh, freezing winter, what other impossible crops are just waiting out there to be discovered? Thank you so much for joining us on this explainer, and happy planting out there.